Hello, BookTube. This is a book chat about a novel I just finished. Picked it up yesterday at the library. It's part of a series that I've been wanting to explore for a while. It's been out a long time. Excuse me. It's a Jack Reacher novel, and should be the type of series that I enjoy. But for some reason, I've never gotten around to it. And then when I heard about the movies, I had less interest. But for some reason yesterday, I was at work and I looked at it and thought, well, I need to read one of these. So I picked up the newest one, The Midnight Line. See if I can do this without tons of glare. There's the author, Lee Child. And this was Delacorte Press, New York, 2017. It's new. And I really ended up enjoying it. So we'll revisit the rest of the series. It's very fast-paced. A lot of action. Interesting characters in this case. Besides the main character, which is Jack Reacher. So, Reacher is described in the volumes twice in here by other people looking at him. Once he's described by a criminal as Sasquatch or Bigfoot. And another time by another bad guy as the Incredible Hulk. So he's a big, big man. He's described as not quite 7 feet. You know, big, giant ham fists. And he's ex 110th Military Police, U.S. Army, so he's an ex-military policeman, graduate of West Point. My understanding was a major when he got out. And he's a drifter. Sort of reminds me a little bit, but without the psychological problems that were part of the Rambo series from years ago, if you remember that. But he drifts from town to town. He's not like a malcontent. It just seems to be like his thing, his gig. Excuse me. I couldn't understand why he doesn't drive, so maybe I'd have to read the rest of the series for that. It's a weakness, I think, in a way. You have to suspend. Yeah, it's a willing suspension of disbelief, because there's scenes that, you know, if somebody's sitting behind a tree with a rifle, you're pretty much done. But the adventure would disappear pretty fast if that were the case. So you have to do some of that. This is meant for entertainment. It's not as a lifestyle choice. And so I don't understand the not wanting to drive thing. He pretty much hitchhikes everywhere. And if you see a guy almost 7 foot on the side of the road, looks like he's been in his clothes for more than one day, my recommendation would be not to pick him up, whether you're a male or a female. But in this particular one, he goes into a little town in Wisconsin. I believe it's Wisconsin. Let me check here. Yeah, it's a little town in Wisconsin, and he's strolling around. He looks inside a pawn shop window. And he sees a ring, and immediately catches his attention because, like I said, he's a West Point graduate, and it's a West Point ring from the year 2005. And it's real little, real small, so it went on a small person's hand. And it has a year, 2005, for the graduation year. And they say in this little write-up here, the ring is tiny for a woman and it has her initials engraved on the inside. West Point, 2005, a tough year to graduate. Iraq, then Afghanistan. So somebody had to give up this ring, somebody who worked really hard to get it, and it sort of piques his curiosity. And being the drifter and the character he is, he decides to find out who this woman is, and maybe he can return the ring to her. Maybe she's down on her luck. But the more he digs into it, the more encounters he has with what turns out to be a large ring of bad guys, basically. And he makes some allies on the way. There's a detective who's an ex-FBI agent. There's a detective who's active in the cities in the Midwest he ends up moving through, because there's a lot of movement in this, and they end up out in Wyoming in some big, beautiful country, and that's well described, and a lot of the action takes place there, and the sheer magnitude of the land is well depicted, and how they work through this encounter to find this woman, the alliances, the enemies, the constant conflict going on, made me really enjoy the book. So I will pick up more in this series. I would, if you like suspense and you like thrillers and you want something for an afternoon read, I would recommend this. And thank you, BookTube.